No, I'm still proud of that.
I'm so proud of it too. There's supposed to be audio for that, right?
Yeah, there is audio.
Was it playing?
I didn't hear it.
I didn't hear it either. I didn't see the. So
Well,
typically on the
well,
desktop, I see little bars go up and
the
down.
thing is that I have our Twitch stream muted, so I wouldn't have heard it.
So you wouldn't have heard it either. Welcome to the Blender Noob Show, my friends. As always, my name is the Checkpoint Professor.
And I am Melting Face 3D.
Yeah, those are not our real names, but we're really afraid of being doxxed, which is
That's not your real name.
my real name. Your real name is Melting Face 3D. You had it changed. That's awesome.
So I am doxing myself right now.
Be careful. Be careful. You're gonna get some prescriptions to some magazines you don't want. Hey, welcome everybody to the Blender 3D Noob Show. For those who are new, hanging out, we are live right now on Twitch. So you're either one of the lucky few watching this live, or you're watching it posthumously. What?
You're using a lot of big words.
I am. Well, not very well either. I'm butchering it. You're watching it post production on the YouTubes, Blender3D Noobs YouTube, Blender3D Noobs Twitch. Links down in the description. And I hate to beg, but we need some love. We need some support. So follow us on Twitch. Subscribe to us on YouTube.
Yeah. And, if you see a video that you like it, but also leave a comment. And we are always looking for new ideas for content. And sometimes we get it from you guys.
Yeah, so just, I'm sure you've been riveted to every single episode, so we don't have to go into the extra large intro.
Mm-hmm.
But my name is actually Gabriel. I'm a full-time professor at the University of Utah, a level designer by trade, and a Blender noob by choice.
Nice. My name's Mike Reese. I am the manager of 3D media development for a company called Vector Solutions, but my passion is in storytelling, and I use 3D as my medium of choice, and Blender has happened to crawl into my ear hole and become a big part of that.
Yeah. So our goal with this podcast, this vlogcast that we do every 2 weeks, is that we keep ourselves busy learning Blender, which is something we're both very interested in. It's not the industry standard software used for our work, but it's something that we are extremely passionate about. So we use this as a time to talk about updates on our projects, as well as talk to the community on anything you want to share with us. Feel free to chime into the chat or leave us a comment on YouTube. We'd love to show off the artwork you're creating in Blender or any topics you're interested in, as well as talk about the news of the day with Blender.
Yes. Cool. Well, speaking of news, should we get into the little thing that I found interesting about Blender? Okay. So we are very, very, very close to having Blender, the official Blender 3.0 released with the much anticipated Cycles X, right? So Cycles X, we've talked about it before on the show, and that is the much improved, completely retooled ray trace renderer for Blender. Now, the big news is that AMD will get big support with Cycles X, which wasn't potentially always the case. Currently, the best rendering that you can do is with an NVIDIA GPU with CUDA, because you have like the optics rendering, and it's just a beast when it comes to doing things quickly. So currently with AMD GPUs, you would get the OpenCL rendering option, which just hasn't always been the greatest, and Blender's for a long time has supported the NVIDIA GPUs. But this is big news because now using the HIP technology, which is heterogeneous computing interface for portability, the Blender developers are now able to make one set of code, source code, but then have multiple devices use that source code to increase performance across the board, which includes the AMD GPUs. So it's pretty awesome. We have not seen yet the performance boosts. We haven't actually had like um, uh, benchmarks done, but it seems like given the same source code, we should see similar benchmarks and similar performance boosts.
So what you're saying is big news coming in December 2021 for AMD. Yeah,
that's when Cycles X should be. That's when Blender 3.0 should be released. Like officially.
Nice. That's awesome. So yeah, the AMD support for Blender 3.0 beta coming soon. Right now, you can download Blender 3.0 beta and the AMD Radeon software beta driver. So this is mainly going to affect like just rendering times, etc. Right? Is that
rendering, and then both in EV and cycles, and then I'm pretty sure it's going to help improve the performance of your viewport.
Okay, the viewport stuff I can get behind. So this is interesting, where you come to two different sets of professions here. So for Mike, that is, you deal a lot more in the film and animation processing and all that good stuff. Whereas for me, it's just like, I just want to model something, give it some good textures, and put it into a game engine. So if it affects the viewport and the speed at which I can model, then that speaks to me directly.
Yeah, and that would be Eevee. That's the real-time engine. So
that's bonkers and awesome. So that's very cool.
Yeah, no, I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, so I think that's the big news in the world of Blender this week. I think we did touch a little bit on it last time. We were talking about Facebook getting its new name, which is Meta. Oh, yeah. I think they've come out with a little bit more since then, but we'll talk about it. One of the things I think we were talking about is I think a lot of money, Facebook had invested money in Blender, right?
Yeah, Facebook. I mean, yes, Facebook is a supporter of Blender.
Yeah, so even now, like if you look at it, yeah, it's crazy. The Metaverse is a big thing. 10 companies that think following Facebook into Metaverse is good. Wearable devices could be as big as phones. So now they're talking about, so this is like the resurgence of Google Glasses, is what I'm understanding.
Well, when that came out, I always thought that was going to be the future, right? You have glasses like I'm wearing right now, but then there's like a heads-up display.
Yeah.
But it was just a little bit too much at the time, right? It was a little bit too much gear. But like once that becomes to where you're just wearing glasses, then the barrier to entry is going to be so low, and people are like, oh, well, I'm just wearing glasses, but then they're getting all these computing power things, and it's gonna be sweet.
Yeah. I mean, so that makes me wonder, like the metaverse in general, whether that's just going to be entirely virtual reality or how much of it will be augmented reality. And my guess is it's going to be intertwined as both, from what I understand. Kind of a big thing. If you look at some of the headlines right here, don't mock the metaverse, but then even Facebook's metaverse must be stopped. Singularity is fast approaching and it will happen first in the metaverse. There's a lot of crazy stuff. But the thing that it speaks to me, Michael, or Melting Face, I don't mean to dox you there, is that what potentially it means to me is a lot of 3D work.
Well, they already, Mark Zuckerberg already said that they're going to get 10,000 jobs, high-skilled jobs in Europe. I think a bunch of that's that.
Yeah.
But yeah, they are going to need tons of 3D people.
Tons of 3D people, and I know for a fact that even with really small indie studios, they're pumping a lot of money into them trying to produce entertainment content for the metaverse. My impression is they're all in on this, right? So they're kind of skimming off of like the Google Glasses with Magic Leap's technology with their augmented reality, which I hear is pretty amazing too. I haven't yet tried it, but a lot of that. So one of the things they talk about in business all the time is it's usually the early adopters, like the Google Glasses, they invest a ton of R&D into something for it to ultimately fail.
Hmm.
And then typically it's another company with capital that can bounce off of that initial inertia that was already created in the forefront, that they can really utilize it because a lot of that R&D has already been done, right? So this could be, I mean, we could be seeing some huge like advancements in that kind of technology, for good or bad, right? So there's a lot of,
I mean,
there's a lot of dystopian movies, you know, Ready Player One, those type of situations. So
that's what I was just going to say. Actually, Ready Player One is the one thing that I think of the most when I think of the metaverse. You know, I think of that, and I wouldn't be surprised if Mark Zuckerberg also thinks of that. I don't know. I think yeah, okay. Something that you're gonna have to look up is, have you seen this the spoof from Iceland on the metaverse?
no, so how would what was Iceland metaverse?
Verse. Yeah, just go to YouTube and type in Iceland verse,
Oh,
and
right.
then
Oh, okay. It's 2 minutes.
we don't have
Oh,
to watch it. It's
oh
just
no, we don't
you
have
got.
to, or we do.
Well, I mean, there's a lot
Hi,
going on, but it's
and
very
welcome
funny.
to this very natural setting. Today, I want to
So
talk about
are you getting audio? I
revolutionary
mean, I'm sure it's.
Yeah, but I'm being honest. I think something's wrong with my audio because it's doing like a deep voice. I doubt it's supposed to sound like that.
No, he actually has a very high voice.
Oh, okay. So I apologize, everyone watching this. Sometimes I run my second computer through a capture card, and occasionally the audio gets horked, and I have to pull the whole IT crowd thing and, you know, unplug it and plug it back in again.
Yeah.
Which was usually my go-to issue when I was in AAA if something was going wrong. Actually, I would call IT. The truth is, usually you call IT and they say, well, have you tried turning your computer off and on again?
Mm-hmm.
And I would say no. And then I would do that and be like, okay, never mind. Back to work. Okay, so we need to watch this, or I need to watch this afterwards. The Iceland verse.
Yeah, I found it to be very, very funny, and yeah, I think it kind of hits that to like, you know, I don't understand some of like I don't I don't want society to be spending more time like with glasses, VR headsets on, meeting virtually when there's a lot of like real world things that you could be doing,
Yeah.
like to experience real world things, which is kind of what this is getting at.
Oh, the Iceland verse. Okay, I'm gonna have to check it out
Yeah.
later. So it's interesting too, like when you're talking about that, the how we're now, right now Zoom is now a real term. It's basically like essentially like Googling
Now it's the
something.
verb.
Now it's the verb. You Zoom. I think there's going to be new verbs coming up through the metaverse. I know. I don't think it's mainstream yet, but it's interesting talking to some people I know of that have worked at other tech companies similar, like Magic Leap. They actually call it, instead of zooming into a conference talk, you would like, I will just instantiate.
Oh.
I will just instantiate myself into this conversation. Like basically it's a physical representation of your real life form that appears basically in someone's room. It's basically the way I understand it. It's like Star Wars, where Leia's talking.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So a holographic version of yourself in augmented reality. So, I mean, I think there's going to be a lot of verbs coming up. I think there's going to be a lot of changes as a result. We'll see, though. We'll see, right? VR was supposed to be a huge thing, and it never quite developed.
Well, the thing with VR is that, I mean, this is like the second coming of VR, right? Because we had the first in like the early 90s, late 80s with, some crazy VR headsets that everything was one color. And then we had the second coming of VR. And, Mark Zuckerberg owns Oculus, which is really the only, lowest barrier to entry, with
Right.
the Quest 2.
Yep.
And I still think there's a big place for VR, but one of the challenges is that you still need to carry around a bunch of gear if you want anything that's kind of decent. And I think that it has to get down to like the glasses level before it's going to be something, or like at least like just like a visor
Yeah.
that's so lightweight that
Have you used the Oculus 2 yet?
I haven't.
So my understanding is that's getting that much closer. It's essentially a powerful cell phone built in there, right?
Yeah.
But there are no wires anymore. So it's just the handsets and the goggles, and I hear they're pretty good.
That's awesome. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if in 10 years it's more of like a full-on haptic feedback with just some gloves or something, you know?
Yep, I think so. But, and just from a couple of years ago with like the Vive, you know, I had one that I used at school to play some of our students' VR games, and it was like I did not want to go through the 1 hour setup unless I had a dedicated room, you know, to have it set up in. Just wasn't worth it.
Yeah, and the other thing too is that currently, because the Oculus is the only real main draw for people, because it's like the lightest weight, it's the lowest cost. Businesses that want to get into to develop their own content, it's really hard because there is Oculus for Business, but the Oculus store is where you have to have everything. You can't have your own app like you would like a phone. Like you could go out and make your own app store and host all your apps on your app store. So but you can't do that with the Oculus. And so businesses can't really do a lot of innovating with an Oculus or, with that platform because they can't like completely own their content.
Which should be interesting if like it doesn't seem like it would be that big of an Android stretch to push something standalone out. They just use the Android store, right? It's kind of what Google Cardboard tried to do.
Yeah.
Which was actually a pretty decent little VR experience for just using your cell phone and a cardboard strapped to your head, you know?
Which is, kind of what Quest is doing in the fact that it's becoming a really powerful little cell phone.
Yep.
So if you were to, use your cell phone, but then again, there's different tech for like, the eyeballs and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think that it's going to be interesting in the next 5 to 10 years, especially as like the metaverse, if once that comes to fruition, it's gonna be crazy. I'm not sure what it's really gonna mean.
Yep. It means lots of get learn in Blender. Start making some stuff for them. They're gonna need a lot of content.
Yep.
And I don't think as much of it can be like they're gonna rely on the creative aspect, because I know like they talk about the singularity and AI. There are gonna be a lot of tools that will help automate the creation of a lot of stuff, but at the end of the day, that human element I think is needed to create the really creative content that's not just manufactured.
That's true. I think, procedural content or procedural abilities and algorithms are becoming better. But to get that personalized, it's still, something that you have to build by hand.
Yep, indeed, awesome. Well, okay, so that's the news. Kind of jumped up on the metaverse a little bit. Trying to get a little SEO in our content, right?
Yeah. So, no, it's fantastic.
It's buzzwords right now. Buzzwords. Okay. Anyway, let's hop into the next episode of our show. Like, let's talk about what we've been up to in Blender. I know Mike has been working on something really cool. Checkpoint Professor has not, but we're going to do something special today.
Yes, which is what?
Sorry, I'm just totally confusing you. So look at this. I just opened up Blender. This is one of those moments where I have been so swamped with work and everything else that my Blender noob responsibilities have been sorely neglected. And so we're gonna rectify that right now, right here on the Blender Noob Show. As you can see, I've got Blender3D up and running right here. Here's the beautiful thing. Anyone wants to crack open this software, figure something out, maybe you've forgotten. Look at this. The middle mouse wheel rotates a cube around. Boom.
Nice.
Boom. I have now worked in Blender this week, Mike.
Goals.
Consistency. No, but we're going to do something. Mike's going to teach me how to do something with his cube today. What are we going to do? What are we going to do to it?
Well, it's a really quick way to mirror something and to work on it both sides. Okay, so it has to do with a lot of shortcuts. So the first thing I want you to do.
Oh my gosh, this is embarrassing, but I've forgotten how to pan my screen. How's that possible?
Just middle mouse drag.
It's not working. I'm not.
Oh, shift plus.
Oh, thank you. Ooh, I was really sad. Okay, what are you gonna teach me how to do?
Okay, so the first thing is go into edit mode. So I'm gonna teach you how to do a very quick mirroring, but I kind of want to evolve this. So go to edit mode.
I'm in edit mode. For those who need to know how to go to edit mode, a little refresher up here if you're new to Blender. So this, I'm interjecting for a second, Mike. Here's the way the Blender Noob Show is going to work. You've got myself, the checkpoint professor, who forgets how to go into edit mode and has to refresh himself. So my whole approach, even with playing video games, with giving feedback to students at work, is the whole think aloud approach. So you will hear me repeating the basics up here on the top left. Click on this little tab up here in the corner to go to edit mode, and now you can edit the faces, the vertices, all the different aspects of your cube. Mike, on the other hand, he is as much as he likes to consider himself a Blender noob. You have graduated, Mike. You are beyond a noob. I'm sorry.
I'm definitely a noob.
He's a Blender3D savant then, even if he is new to noobing through Blender. Okay, so we're in edit mode. What's next, my friend?
Control R.
Control R.
Yep, and then
Boom. I think I was out of edit
middle.
mode. I think I was out of edit mode. What happened? So I'm gonna go back into edit mode.
Yep.
Control R.
Yep.
Control R. Okay. Oh, nice. Okay, so I have a. Okay.
And then right click to get it right in the middle, so don't move it around.
Ooh, I left clicked. I apologize. No, I right clicked. What happened? Let's try this again. Control R, and then you said right click.
Yep.
It didn't do anything.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Control R.
Then left click and then right click.
Left click, right click. Okay, done. So we have created a loop across our cube.
Okay, face mode. Delete half the cube.
Okay, face mode. Object mode, is that under edit? How do I go to face mode? I can't remember. Edit mode?
Oh, 3 is face. So when you're in edit, 1 is
vertex. What did I do? I just
you did Control Shift B.
No, I didn't.
Okay, well
I mean maybe I did.
Left click and then Control Z.
But this is cool. Look what I just made.
Yep.
Okay.
You beveled some vertices.
Okay, so we're gonna hit 3.
Yep.
Yeah, we're gonna select all these faces.
Yep.
Boom. Oh, this it feels good, Mike. It feels good. So I tried to hit delete, it didn't work. How do I delete?
No, you can do that too. You can hit delete, but then you'll have to say to do faces. So hit delete and then faces.
Boom. Okay. Done and done.
Okay, object mode. Back to object mode.
Boom. Up here in the left corner, we're going back to object mode.
Okay, this is where this is the trick, all right? So it's a 2-step trick. First, you're going to do Alt D
to duplicate it. Okay.
To duplicate an instance, and then right click to get it right back where it was.
Right click. Okay.
Okay. Now do Control M, and then on the bottom you'll see. So do Control M, and that's mirror.
Mm-hmm.
But then see how it says. So now you can press X, Y, or Z, and it will mirror on the X, Y, or Z axis.
Ooh, and luckily I hit X. I just happened to hit X, and it
perfect
mirrored on the right axis.
So then you left click.
Oh no! Hold on, I'm gonna hit X again. Then left click. Oh no! I dang it, Mike! I made a mistake. What did I do? Okay. I left clicked instead of I right clicked instead of left clicked. So I don't know if I still have that. Okay, I've control Z'd. So now I don't know if that half is still there or not. How do I find out? If I go into object mode,
you only have one cube. I can see it on the right.
I do. Oh, you're right. Okay, so I need to delete that or rebuild it again.
You need to just
Control D.
Nope. Alt D.
Alt D. Okay, and then right click to make it stay there.
Yep.
Alt.
Nope. Now Control M.
Oh my goodness. Okay. This is awesome.
X.
And then hit X.
Yep.
And then left click.
Left click.
It's so easy a caveman could do it.
Now, if you go into your original and go into edit mode, it's perfectly mirrored and you can do both sides at the same time, like super fast.
Let's go to edit mode here. Edit mode. Oop. So 3 is face, right?
Yep.
And then how do I... So you'll have to remind me, how do I use this sucks, Mike. I've been so out of the loop.
Just
they're right here.
On the left, you have...
Woo!
There you go, bud.
There we go. I'm so used to Maya, just WER. Look at that. That's awesome, Mike.
So now, I mean, if you were to commit that to memory pretty quick, right, then you could do a quick mirror, do some things, and then you could...
Yeah, I could start box modeling right now to be a party. So it's interesting, I can only select my original.
Yeah, it kind of protects it.
Very cool. Let's see, what's the hotkey to extrude?
E.
That's right. Oh, look at that. I've done some weird stuff now. And that original one you did to make the split, was that Control R?
Yep. That does the loop.
Yeah.
And then remember, you can use your scroll wheel to add more edge loops.
Add more edge loops to that. Nice. Yeah, that's fun. So now it's in edge mode. Put it back in there. I don't know what I'm building, Mike, but we're doing something. That's super cool.
Yeah, so what's neat is, you can do a quick... so really, it's just a quick mirror. Then you should look at the... you should look at like all the options that you have when you do the when you do the quick mirror. It's pretty neat. I don't know. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, that's super. I can see how that'd be super handy. And this is why, if you want to be a Blender noob, do not be like the checkpoint professor and, neglect his responsibilities for a month.
There's some really kind of neat add-ons too that are coming in Blender that I think everyone should like initiate real quick. It makes things fun. Not that it's not fun already, but
yeah,
we'll talk about that next time.
Yeah, I want to do some add-on talks, but like this is the fun part, where you want to be is really when it comes to like 3D modeling in general. 80% is just figuring out how to get edge loops into your model. That's the big part. How to extrude, how to add those edge loops. And then the real thing, the bread and butter, and this maybe is like part of that 80%, is just doing what I'm doing now. It's building out a silhouette so you can then move vertices and edges and make something fun, right? And then rotating it, make sure it looks right. That to me, that's the real fun part of modeling in general. And so any of these software, whether it's Maya, 3D Studio Max, or Blender, it's just learning those basics, how to navigate, rotate, manipulate that object, and then do the things like Mike just talked about. What are those 2 steps process to mirror something? And if you can commit those to memory it speeds up your process. So the next time you hop in to do some modeling, you don't have to overthink it. If you want to box model ahead, now I've kind of realized, Control R, put in some edge loops on that box, delete half of it. I could start, just from what you've taught me, I could probably start box modeling ahead pretty rapidly, just with that much. And that's the fun part. And then learning, if you keep after that, learn how to collapse an edge, how to weld some stuff, and you're kind of golden.
You're absolutely right. And that actually gets right into, and you guys should all check it out, like right into our productivity hacks video that we released. And one of the hacks is learn shortcuts. Learn the shortcuts.
What a fantastic segue. We're gonna take a peek on that. Everyone check it out. We've got a YouTube channel, the Blender Noobs Show YouTube channel, where we repeat all this stuff. Mike just put out a new killer video for productivity hacks for the 3D artist, or anyone really.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think anyone could kind of take away some good pointers, but we talk about time and protecting your time and what that means. We talk about shortcuts and add-ons and like Checkpoint said, to commit some of those to memory so you are more efficient. We talk about some task management software that's been really good, and we talk about like how to automate boring tasks like creating folders, and how to make that really very quick and easy and consistent. So yeah, definitely some cool things. I link everything I talk about in the description. But yeah, you guys should all just check it out.
Go there right now. Shoot it a follow if you are right there right now on YouTube. Why don't you do yourself a favor and subscribe to the Blender3D Noobs channel? I mean, it just makes sense. Okay, Mike, I think this has been awesome. I think what I'm really chomping at the bit to is see what you've been working on.
Oh, snap. All right.
I'm absolutely dying to see.
All right. Let's get that back up.
So if you're ready.
Yeah, so I forgot that.
It's all good.
I need to be on this.
We're professionals.
We are professionals. Share screen. Okay, so I've been working on this concept air gun, which has been pretty cool. This right here is the concept. Can you see my?
Not yet. I'm gonna fix the screen here. It got reset, the transforms. So everyone bear with me here. We're gonna get this nice and centered here.
Okay. Perfect.
Beautiful like. There we go. That should be good.
Yeah. So I'm in the stage of doing my secondary forms. I did a block out. Let me see if I can't hide the hot. I'm calling it high poly, but then I did a block out just to start getting them shapes in there. Oh, Gabe, this is kind of cool to talk about. Like, why is this red?
Why is that red, Mike?
So one of the cool things you can do in Blender is you can tell Blender to, so this is actually like a back face, like the normals are flipped, and so flip normals will appear as red, and so I will know that something is flipped and that I need to flip it because it turned red.
So in Blender, do they call it flip or invert? Or reverse.
So I have my faces here, and I do Alt N, and it's just flip.
Okay, it's flip.
Yep. So it's kind of cool because in edit and preferences and viewport. Oh nope. I guess it's interface. Themes. Yeah, it's somewhere in here. Input. You can. Yeah. I mean, there's so much, but you can look for I forget where it's at, but you can look for it's right here, the face orientation back.
Oh, wild.
And see how you have face orientation front.
Yeah.
You can actually make things blue and red, but I just chose red. And then you can um, show face orientation. See that?
Mm-hmm.
So like if I were to do this now, I don't think it would do anything. See, it doesn't look right. It doesn't look good,
Right.
but it's not showing it as red. So you just need to, you know, tell it to do face orientation. And so now I will know if anything has a back face, which is pretty neat.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So this was my block out. I actually have like an orb, a sphere here. Here we go. There it is. So and then I just started going through and trying to make more interesting shapes. The real difficulty with these concept sketches is that you have to make up a lot of stuff. Like, what is this, right? And like,
Right.
what is this junk? And you know, what's behind this right here? Like, is this, what's behind here? So there's definitely things that you can, you know, gleam, but then there are things that you'll have to make up and do research and find other details with other real life models or real life objects to figure out what makes sense for this,
Right.
for this
Well,
concept.
then many times in, you know, hand drawn things like that, it's a made up perspective as well. So
Oh yeah.
some of it might twist.
Yeah, so th- once I get some more things figured out with the entire thing, I'm actually going to bring this into ZBrush and do some more Boolean type stuff to actually get some more high detail and to get some more interesting shapes. Like, for example, if you look at this right here, this, this is like a cylinder cutout right there. Like,
Yeah.
why, So, uh, those shapes are really fun and easy to do within ZBrush with some booleans, and so I was gonna then bring it in, do some extra fun things, and then bring it back in as like a high poly, and then you know, retopologize it.
Yeah. I'm fascinated to see how well the, how you utilize the retopping tools within Blender to do this. That'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, yeah, it's gonna be interesting. This has definitely been like an interesting little challenge for sure. Some things are relatively easy to figure out. That look nice and then they connect well, but then some things are somewhat more difficult. Like I don't like this square panel here. It
Mm-hmm.
looks more so I'm probably gonna make something so like when you look at these things, you gotta look at like some of the continuation lines and say, well, this line right here, this could be a different material than what this is, and that would make more sense, like in terms of how it's assembled. This is probably a piece. I think this right here could probably be a piece, which could be interesting. You get some cool shapes. I may leave this out and actually have this be a piece because it's like, how is this thing assembled, right? And
Yeah.
like, why is it assembled the way it is? The other thing too is that this circle could mean like this bit was actually like a full face. But I kind of liked having some negative space there.
Yeah. It's a weird, that gun, there's some things that are bothering me. Like that trigger is so massive.
Well, that's because it's an air gun.
Which is
It's actually, yeah, it's weird.
which is fine, but like, do you just have two fingers actually around the handle, and then the other two are on the trigger? Is that kind of the idea?
Yeah, so like here's some other reference of like other guns that he's made. So like here's another kind of weird trigger right
Yeah.
here.
Huh. So I'm
But
guessing
see,
you squeeze down all the way then.
yeah,
That yeah, okay.
and then here's some real air guns, but they look just like
Yeah,
actual guns.
right. Because you have three fingers around the handle and one pulling the trigger.
Yep, yeah, and so but these are legit like paintball guns and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, but they're air compressed. But it's interesting to see some of the details that are here.
Mm-hmm.
See how this bit right here, this whole exchange of, of, shapes is similar to what's kind of happening right here.
Yeah.
Oh man. So, this is where you got to kind of like, okay, so that, this is this is a separate thing. This is a separate thing. I don't, I actually kind of like this, but I like this too. Like you just kind of figure it out, like what makes sense. I think this is something kind of like this,
Mm-hmm.
maybe.
Yeah, I like your use of reference to help figure out some of these
Yeah, these are air canisters, but
issues.
there's no canisters really here. But I like the idea of air canisters, but I also like the idea of some tubing. Maybe we'll do some tubing or something to kind of make it a little bit more interesting in some places.
Mm-hmm.
And then here's a big old trigger. See this right here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once
Which is
again,
kind of strange.
without a second place to put your hand, like
It's weird.
it looks cool though. It looks cool. I don't
Yeah.
want to besmirch this awesome concept art. I'm just wrapping my head around some functionality here.
Oh yeah, for sure. And that's where, this person was just trying to get out the ideas.
Yeah.
But now as a 3D modeler, sometimes your job is to interpret.
Yep. Yeah, no,
So,
more than not. So we've all been through the 3D modeling game with art tests, right? So that's a lot of times you'll be given concept art specifically for that reason. Not because they want to see how much you can recreate something one-to-one, but they want to see how your problem solving skills is. They purposely won't give you like the behind version of something or a section of it because they want to see how you interpret that. And that many times that's the hireable trait, right? People would much rather hire problem solvers than just craftsmen.
mm-hmm. Yep, that's true. That's true. So yeah, that's what I'm doing, and I'm hoping to get pretty far during the next week or so.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm excited. So as much as I have been slacking on my duties, I'm going to get our images up. I do have a little bit of time coming up as well. So everybody, happy Thanksgiving next week. I think both Mike and I both have plans to. This is like Mike, full screen Mike. That's the way. That's the way Mike should always be. But I do have plans, to get back into it. So I should have some fun stuff to show. I know I promise that all the time, but I really mean it this time.
Okay.
I do have some fun stuff coming down the pipe that I'm excited to share with.
Sweet. Oh, can't wait.
So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this action-packed episode of the Blender Noobs 3D show.
I know I did.
Me too. No, this has been great. It's always a pleasure. Mike and I have been friends for a long time, so anytime we get to collaborate and kind of chat, it's a win-win for me. So I'm excited. So we'll be back in 2 weeks. Everybody, thank you so much for watching. You are amazing.
Keep on noobing it, everyone. Keep the art up. Keep on telling stories.
Yeah, have we figured out a catchphrase yet?
Nope.
Noob it up, noob it down, noob it all around.
Exactly.
All right.